Hey guys, welcome back to the How To channel. I'm gonna do something a little different this time. I'm gonna build an entire kit in one video. So this might take me a while. For reference, I believe today is October the 6th, Friday. So we'll see when I actually get this done and post it up. But we're going to build the beachcomber. A little history. This is Scale Auto number 57 from October of 88. In October of 88, I would have been 11 years old. My parents got me a subscription to Scale Auto. I received this and was in love with this Woody right on the cover, built by Tim Boyd. But I could never build it because I was 11 and there was some things that in this kit that are kit bashed, meaning parts from other kits. And I wasn't able to kit bash a lot when I was a kid because I could afford to save up some allowance and get a model kit at $5 or $6 a kit, you know, every couple months, or maybe just for my birthday or Christmas. We didn't have a lot of money. So building a kit with other parts was difficult for me. That's why a lot of my original builds from the old days don't exist, because I wanted to continue building and I couldn't because I didn't have any kits to build. I didn't have a stash of parts to go in. So here I am at the age of 40 and I'm gonna build the beachcomber. The reason is this is a very nostalgic little build for me. And when I was a kid, I read these articles over and over and over and over and over again. So we're gonna kind of go through that as I build it, and all the different things will make references to the article as I go, and we'll probably post it on the Model Car Magazine forum because Tim Boyd's over there, just to let him know, hey, your build really influenced me. I've always wanted to build it. But one of the things that makes this build great is, as an adult now, or have extra resources to buy extra kits if I need it, this isn't really that difficult of a build. It's pretty much a box stock build with some changes and different wheels. And so it's very attainable. And so here's what I've got so far. All right, I've got the AMT 29 Ford Woody pickup kit. Okay, so that is the kit that he used. I've got the old AMT 55 Nomad kit, because he used those American torque thrusts, so I've got that. He used Krylon, but that Krylon doesn't exist anymore, Krylon Aqua Turquoise, so I found some Bear Premium Hidden Sea Glass at Home Depot that I'm gonna try out. I know that these magazine pictures probably aren't super accurate, but that seems to me very close. The roof and the sun visor were like a light ivory, so I've got some chiffon cream. Looks very close to me. One of the cool things that Tim did was he covered the wood inserts in the Woody with, what is it called? Veneer, birch veneer. And ta-da, looking around on eBay, I found some old vintage birch wood veneer. Look at this. So what I'll do is I'll cut panels to match the inside of the Woody, because this Woody has the door panels is what is showing through here. The Woody body is just the frame, and you put these door panels and you see. So I'm gonna cover that with the birch wood, and he used birch too, so that is the correct type of wood. I found an old can of Tester's wood online, so I'm hoping that this color matches the Tester's wood color. So we got that. And then, oh, I did a spray out on a spoon of the Bear paint. It's got a funny kind of orange peely texture to it, but I don't think it's attacking the plastic. That's been actually happening a lot with my paint lately, so maybe it's the weather. My uncle's a painter and he calls it blushing. Maybe it's blushing because of the humidity. But either way, that'll sand out. That'll definitely sand out and polish up. So I'm gonna let that dry and see if it can polish up. I've got the 55 for the wheels. I've got the Model A for the kit. I've got the article for reference. I've got the wood veneer. I'm so stoked to finally have this Woody, or a reasonable facsimile, in my collection. And so here we go. So let's take a look at the Woody kit. Got stock wheels. Those old AMT Goodyear GTs or whatever that were horrible. Won't be using any of that. Here's the body. Tim cut out all this extra here, so I'll be cutting that out too, just to leave the top 2 bars, leave that open. But as you can see, it's open back here because the door panels go behind, and that's where we'll cover those door panels with the veneer wood. But you know, good looking little AMT body. We've got the seats and the floor pan. Chrome tree with the cool Stingray bicycle, probably build that. Tim built this thing with the chrome flathead, so no engine swapping. So we'll be building up that flathead. He used the Model A bumper and the Model A grill shell, painted body color. And he did a lowered headlight bar, so we'll lower that, probably make a new headlight bar because that's got tabs on it for the front license plate, which we won't be using. This kit has the chassis molded in, which is not great, but it's totally doable for this build. So we'll be grinding out that cross member for the buggy spring and grinding that down probably use a front suspension from a Revell 32 Ford kit. He used the front suspension from the Revell Model A's, like the sedans, not the current Model A Roadster, but the old sedans and pickups. I have one of those kits, but I already robbed the front end out of it, so it's not gonna be exact clone. I'll use a dropped axle out of something else, but there's the fender unit. There's the Roadster pickup cab, because this is a 3-in-1 kit. You can build as an RPU if you want. Ooh, even has a tube of glue in here. That's cool. That came from whoever I bought this kit from. Hood. Since this is a late 80s build, this will be smoothed. We will grind off those louvers, make it a 3-piece hood, because this is kind of a monochromatic late 80s, 90s build. There's the pickup box if you want to build a Roadster pickup. This is the convertible top. But yeah, pretty straightforward old AMT kit. Instructions: 29 Ford station wagon or pickup. So you can build it as a complete stalker. Anyway, there it is. All right, we're gonna get going on this thing. The beach cloner, mostly bodywork. I did get the wheels out of the old AMT 55 Chevy kit. Front wheels, front tires are parts box. He didn't say in the article where those tires came from. They look really small. These are kind of the smallest tires I could find in the parts box. The rears, I'm pretty sure, on the magazine car were the old monogram BFGs that came on the rear of every monogram car for a while. I've got tons of those. The 55 Chevy wheels either have the open hub or the cones. Went ahead and clipped off that cone because it's gonna have the spinner on it. Smoothed the grill shell, smoothed the hood, and dug out the line between the hood top and the hood sides. It's almost kind of non-existent on the kit. Got it all to fit right, which included fitting it here and then filing down the cab because there was, or the cowl, because there was a huge lip here, and making it all flush, so now everything kind of fits. Got all the bracing cut out of the body, all the flash gone. There was a lot of flash. And got a coat of Tester's wood on there, the color. And that's enamel, so it's gonna take a while to dry. I'm gonna let that dry. I did some spray outs with the Bear Premium Home Depot special. It's actually pretty good stuff. It's got a pretty good shine to it. I'm pretty happy with that. So I got to look in. This isn't the actual color of the car is not this. It's darker, but I'm gonna have to go with this because this is the closest thing I can find. I found a sketchy looking website that had some old Krylon aqua turquoise, which is the actual color. And I tried to buy it, but it didn't go through. It might have been a scam site. I don't know. Might have got my credit card stolen. Don't know. Pretty much got the bodywork done. Hood, grill shell fit, the cowl. Smooth the running boards. Did all the necessary unbracing of the body. And yeah,
that's it. Still working on the beachcomber.
All right, little update. Here's what we got on the beach cloner, if you will. It looks like there's a lot done, and there is, but it's more or less just mocked up right now. I will show the suspension and everything later. Before you say anything, before you comment, yeah, the colors aren't quite right, but I like the colors, so I'm going with it. This wood. Just thought I'd jump in here to say that I was a little bummed that the colors didn't match, but it was a blessing in disguise because I didn't have to be so particular about matching every detail to make it a clone. So when the colors didn't match exactly, it gave me freedom to just make some changes that I felt needed to be there. And it actually took a lot of the pressure off in the build, and it made it a little bit more fun. And I'm really happy with it. It's not a clone, it's a tribute. And it's not the greatest Woody ever built, but it's a tribute. And if you get that reference, we can be friends. This wood color on the outer part is too dark. When you look at the kit, especially on the cover, which is, and also confirmed on Tim's Fotkey site, that is a much lighter color, maybe even like a peach color, maybe? I don't even know, but definitely a lighter color. The wood darkened down a little bit when I cleared it, but it still looks pretty good. There's the tailgate, looking good. After trying to kind of look around and figuring out what that color is, I kind of gave up. Also, I looked all over for this actual blue. It's aqua turquoise Krylon, and that doesn't exist anymore. So the sea glass bear stuff is lighter for sure, but I like it. And so we're just gonna finish the model like that. Another couple things is when I looked at the article, I recognized the rear tires right away as the monogram BF Good wrenches that came in almost every monogram 124 scale model in the 80s. So I had tons of those laying around. The front tires were unidentified and really small and perfect for the front of a Model A. Well, I couldn't find anything like that in my stash, so I did the best to come up with something similar and short, and it was not easy to find a small tire that fit those wheels and also got the front end down. I think the magazine car tire was probably a little bit smaller, definitely thinner tread-wise, but that's the best I could do, and I'm happy with it. Again, I went to try to make a clone, but now it's just going to be an homage, a nod to Tim and this really cool Woody. Another thing was that I'll do a detailed underside when I finish it, but that is the axle from the Revell 32 Ford kits. He used the axle from the Revell Model A kits that went back to the 60s. These kits, the front axle and the rear axle he used comes from this kit. Well, I had already robbed the axle out of this kit for my 34 Ford. And so it's gone, but I did have the rear end. The quick change center section just happened to come from the parts box. The quick change in his build was actually metal, but the bells, the axle bells, the radius rods, the drive shaft, and everything came from that Model A kit, so I had that. But I did not have the Revell front axle, so I used the Revell 32 kit's axle, and it actually looked a lot better. I didn't have to dig out the cross member like he had to do in his to get it low. I just had to grind on the spring a little bit, and it had a lot deeper drop. So this car will also get the 4-bar radius rods from the Revell kit. Just finish up that whole front suspension like it came in the 32 kits, but that's okay. That's okay. Still a great build. Yeah, like I said, I got in the earlier video, I got the wood. Here is the other side panel. I was a little bummed that I cleared it to seal it, and it was Tamiya clear, but this being wood, it soaked it up, and I even did another coat and it soaked it up, and so it is sealed, but it did darken the wood a little bit. The actual birch is just a shade lighter, which is fine, but there was a contrast between this wood and the dark posts, and it is not as much of a contrast anymore now that it's cleared, as you can see. Anyway, the paint, the Behr Home Depot special paint, is actually pretty good. I had to really be careful because it's got a high flow cap on it, and it's for painting like lawn furniture, so it has a little bit of a learning curve, but it is enamel based, and so it takes about 10 years to dry. I actually used a hairdryer in the sun just to get it to where I can handle a little bit to do this mock-up, but I'm fully aware that this is going to need to sit for several more days before I can fiddle with it, before I can mask that off and do that. That's just kind of placed there to see what it looks like. And also this is enamel too, so this is a little soft. And I got to thinking, I spent so much of my childhood waiting for enamel to dry. If they would have made lacquers, and they did, but they weren't readily available to me, to my knowledge. If I could have got my hands on lacquers and spray bombs, I would have built way more models, because that paint would have dried and I'd have been moving on. They could have made so much more money. So here I am reliving my childhood, not only building a childhood dream kit, but also reliving the hideous enamel dry times. So there you go. We'll hit you back up when there's more to update. Here it is, friends, in all her radiant beauty. The Beachcomber Tribute Woody. It's not the greatest Model A Woody ever, it's a tribute. And it's done. Got a handheld light here just to make it be able to see things a little bit better. I usually do some of these pictures outside, but it is dark and cold and rainy, and so we won't be going outside. But this makes the colors really pop. If I take it away, the light isn't great in here, so I'm going to try to use this extra light. So as I said before, the colors aren't exact, but the thing really turned out well. So I'm just going to highlight some of the things that I did differently from the Tim Boyd's build. First of all, this bumper is from a Revell Model A kit. The AMT kit just looked a little chunky to me, and when I held them up side to side, the Revell bumper was just a little thinner, a little more svelte, so I painted that up and put that on there. The other thing is this headlight bar. The headlight bar that was used in the kit, or excuse me, the original build, was just a flat piece of styrene rod that went from the holes in the fenders. Well, I did that on mine, and when I did that, this headlight bar was all cattywampus. It was not straight, and I fiddled with it, and I fiddled with it, and I couldn't get it figured out. So what I did is I made my own headlight bar out of a Revell 32 headlight bar. I don't know if you can see that, but that's one of the little drop parts from the Revell headlight bar. Then I put a straight piece of sprue in there and then glued the Model A headlights on there. That's how I chose to fix that. Under the hood, we've got the flathead. I didn't paint it up like Tim did, but it still looks pretty good. That's an 8BA. Oh, I did forget one thing. In the kit, there is a distributor for this flathead, but it's not on the instructions and it's not on the original model. So I thought about leaving it off, but I'm gonna put it on. I forgot. It goes right about there because this is a 49 to 53 flathead, and they had distributors that came up in front of the passenger side cylinder head, not down on the front like an old flathead. So I'll go ahead, and the last piece I put on this little guy will be the distributor. But a little two-pot flathead looks pretty good in there with the radiator sport rods. We've got the coil painted up, and it looks pretty good. We've got the monogram spinners from either the 40 Ford kit or the ZZ Top Illuminator kit that go right on there. Those look good. You can see the wood grain and the birch veneer in there, which is this light really brings out the contrast I like. I did some Molotow pen on the little nuts and bolts and the woody just to bring that out, and had to color sand and polish the paint, but it came out real nice. So let's look at the chassis. On the chassis, I used the interior color, and then I brushed some water-based apple brown over it and did kind of a light thin coat, and I brush stroked it in such a way that when it dried, it actually looked a lot more like woods, which I was pretty happy about. I did that with all the floorboards. I had to decant some Testors Black to paint the frame, just like he did in the other one, in the real one, or in the original one, that is. But I did not paint the running board braces. Guys, I have a tremor. I'm not afraid to admit it, because there's nothing I can do about it. I've got a tremor, and I almost can't brush paint anything anymore. Sometimes it's days it's worse than others, but man, I shake like a leaf sometimes, and so I chose not to paint those running board supports. Cut off the exhaust just like he did. I couldn't figure out the color on his mufflers, so I just painted him gold. But that is the full-on front suspension from the Revell 32 Ford kits. The axle, the shocks, the shock mounts, the radius rods, the tie rod, the drag link, the steering box, the brakes, pretty much everything, and it was a great fit. I didn't have to do a lot of grinding to get the stance. And if these Revell 32s were available when Tim built this kit, I'm sure that's probably what he would have used. You can kind of see in there, I just used some black wash in the headliner sealing just to give it some depth. I'm not really good at weathering, but that did make it look nice and give it some depth. If you look at the interior, I did something that I'd never done before, because, there we go. This kit had a chrome, or has a chrome. This kit has a chrome dash insert. And so what I did was I painted the gauges black and let it dry, or flat black, and let it dry. And when it was good and dry, I gently rubbed across the top of it with a towel, paper towel, and the black paint just rubbed right off the chrome and exposed the needles and all the details and stuff. So that was a pretty neat deal. I've never done that before. Of course, you don't get chrome dashes that often in these things. I left out the third row seat because I'm gonna build the Stingray bicycle that goes in this thing. The tailgate works. I'm also gonna get paint up a surfboard for it. I do have this surfboard, but it is huge. Let me just demonstrate for you. This is actually to scale, because in the olden days, the old longboards were up to 14 feet long, and Model A's are about 14 feet. So even though this is to scale, it doesn't look right, because if you don't know much about surfing, this looks huge. So I've got some plastic surfboards that I'm gonna paint up to carry around in the back of this thing. I forgot to mention the rear end is a quick change center section from the parts box. The rest of it is from the Revell Model A kits. So there it is, guys. I'm really, really happy with it. I get to have, in my mind, a Tim Boyd creation, or a reasonable facsimile in my stash. It's looking really nice. My wife and my daughters think this is the favorite color I've ever painted anything. I do agree, it is a very nice color. It's really out of the ordinary for me to build a car like this. I'm a hardcore, traditional hot rod and custom guy, but I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and this is the kind of stuff I saw all the time going to car shows. I saw the smoothie look, pastel colors, painted chrome, and this just takes me back. And so Tim, if you're watching, if you're out there, man, I hope this encourages you and honors you. You were a big influence on me as a kid, and I love that you built something that was really accessible for us novice builders. Even if it took me 30 plus years to actually recreate it, this would have been totally doable as a young kid. So thanks for tuning in, guys, to the Hey Auto channel. Take care. I'm hiding out here on my porch from my kids. I don't got much time. They're gonna know that I'm out here, so I gotta be quick. I've got these shop cards here. I'm gonna give some shout outs. I think 1 or 2 of them I've already done a shout out for, and another one I haven't, but I couldn't remember which, and I don't really want to go back and watch my own videos. So somebody's gonna get a repeat. So congratulations on that. I think I did this one before, but that's okay. We'll shout him out again. This is Marcelo over at Mars Garage. He builds some cool hot rods and customs. Rat Rods Customs and Rust, and he did a weathered like rust group build that I should have got in on, but I didn't know about it, or I can't remember, but if you do another one, I'll probably try to get on it. Mars, really cool channel. Almost forgot too that Marcelo did me a solid and got in on the customs group build and did I think like a root beer brown 51 Chevy, if I remember right. I hope I got that right, Mars, and I really appreciate you being in on that build. We got Larry's Model Shop. Larry is working on a pretty cool little Model A Roadster. It's kind of a burnt orange color. And you know, that's my speed, hot rods and customs. So Larry, at Larry's Model Shop. There you go. And the last but certainly not least is the Model Hobbyist. This is Thomas Wormsley. And he's working on a 67 GTO on his channel. Kind of a street freak, it looks like. It's purple, it's pretty cool. He's also got some other kits in process. So check out Thomas Wormsley at the Model Hobbyist. And hey guys, oh my gosh, you can see my breath in Texas, and it's only October. It's almost November. What do you mean the video just ends off randomly there? Are you kidding me? You're fired. You're fired as my editor. Oh, hey guys. Sorry the video just ended weirdly there. Take care, like, subscribe, and tune in next time.